Alright, hey, welcome back to another tutorial. Gonna continue on from the last one. The last video or tutorial we left off and I basically we finished up just switching between two weapons, or actually three, unarmed and one weapon and two other weapons. So on this I'll continue by showing you guys how to actually when the weapon is equipped, you can aim up and down. We're not going to do ADS yet, the aim down sights. That'll be for a future video, but I will show you what I have, and you can decide if you want to continue to watch or not, or you want to learn this. Alright, so again, we have our first person character. If I hit up, that's where we left off pretty much on the D-pad, where like the weapon comes out, but if you aim up on the right analog stick or down on the right analog stick, he will move his weapon up and down. Again, left on the D-pad puts it away, down pulls the Uzi out, and back and forth, and you can cycle through like that. And actually you can look up and down while moving. There's a bit of a sway, you know, on the Uzi, but I actually like it. It's a little more realistic, and that's kind of what I would be going for if I were to continue to build on this FPS template. Alright, so alright, I'll show you how I did this. Alright, the only thing is, you are most likely going to have to go back and watch my camera rig tutorials to kind of follow along with this one. Alright, so what I usually do is you go to show and hide, and I usually turn off invisibility and turn on X-ray. Alright, so what I did was you're going to want to put in the puppet logic, you're going to want to put these are the variables. Alright, and so just copying, you can delete these if you want, but you want to at least copy and paste them and put it in the puppet logic. You can keep them here too. So yeah, so there you go, that's the variables. Alright, so this is where we're going to store all our animations. Alright, so I made a microchip, and actually I want to change it to that. So again, you can by changing the colors, you just move around this wheel, and you can give it different icons and stuff to kind of keep everything a little more organized. Alright, so what I had done here is, and I did the same thing, actually I didn't color these, but I don't really care about that. I will just add these. So again, L1 squared opens up these, and just pick the icons. Alright, so again, the reason you're gonna want, because I'm not gonna really go through all this, I'm gonna like just copy and paste this stuff. Alright, and then in those camera rig, it explains what all this is in the the camera rig tutorials. Alright, so basically you're gonna copy and paste all of this. Alright, everything. You basically can copy and paste for that just by clicking on each thing and then hitting L1 and R2, and just drag it over into this microchip. So the only difference is, of course, the timeline is the same, 10 seconds, and we're going to delete all. You can delete all the keyframes that are in from this, because you're not going to want these keyframes in this timeline. So the only thing we need is a wireless receiver. Alright, so you'll get your wireless receiver, and again, that is, I'll show you where that is. Gadgets, wireless transmitter, wireless receiver. Alright, and again, you're just going to want to cycle up and down with the D-pad, up and down, and you can find pistol equipped and then in scene. Alright, again, that'll find the wireless receiver or the wireless transmitter anywhere in the scene. So again, this, if you notice, this is what we made this. This is our up down. So this is B. The up button is pistol equipped. This is your transmitter, and then this is the receiver, which is, so you don't have, the reason for this is you don't have to have all these wires going through. You can actually make it so you don't have to have insane amounts of wires going from all the way across the frame from one place to another. that makes it a little harder to, like, you know, figure out where everything is going. All right, so in this sense, all right, so we have pistol equipped. All right, so that's basically all you need in that in this little microchip. The only thing is, if you remember, this keyframe is the keyframe we had plugged into the pistol equipped. All right, if you notice, he's just aiming it straight. All right, so what you're going to want to do is you want to take that keyframe and you're going to want to put it in this 5 seconds. All right, right in the middle. And then you're going to want to copy this keyframe, right? And of course you're going to want to put it here. All right, and to get this, you hit L1X and yours will start out like, if I hit triangle, it'll delete it. So if I hit, again, yours will look like this. If you hit L1X, it gives you this kind of transition, smooth transition. All right, so all right, this is our up, right? Yeah. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to want to click on this keyframe, right? Again, it looks like it's the same one because we copied it from the middle, and we're going to want this to go up, right? So the problem here is if you hit keyframe, you hit the record, and you try to go up with this, it will not let you. So what you have to do is you have to triangle. You have to de-animate these two parts of the arm. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring it all the way up. Again, this is, yeah, preference on how high you want it to be. You kind of want it to match your camera up and down, and that's something you have to play with. But for this one, that's about good. All right, so then what you want to do is once you do that, you still have to go back, hit X quickly, R2, and it will reanimate it. I don't know why that keeps happening. Don't. Why are you doing that? Don't mind me. Alright, so again, it's a little finicky, so you want to like make sure that before you stop recording, all these are keyframed. Alright, again, just hit R2 really quick and just try to get those lines. And the reason we do that is that it won't, when he's looking up, his arm will move more. It won't move as much when it's looking up like that if it's all keyframed. So alright, so same thing there. Then again, copy this one for this side, the down. Alright, and again, you're gonna wanna keyframe this by triangle. Yeah, and then down. Alright, and then again you want to keyframe it, so quickly hit. For some reason it does that. You don't want to hit the microchip. Alright, there you go. Alright, so that's that. Alright, stop recording. And again, you're gonna have an issue. I really couldn't figure this out, how to get it to the end like that. So I'll just show you how to. Oh, why is that one long? Oh, it's a lot longer than it needs to be, but whatever. Let me make this smaller. See what happens. Oh yeah, so I can actually show you. So if you go ahead and you see those two little lines, it'll let you go slowly over, and you want it to be all the way to the end, because if you notice, if this is at 5 seconds, if you don't go all the way to the end and make sure that it is at the end, he will let's see, so the arm goes down and then it, see how it pops, because it's going back to the original stance, because there's for some reason it's not all the way at the end here. So So what we need to do is you need to get that. Alright, so now once you get those like little dashes that you see when you walk away, it means it's at the end. Alright, so now, because I'm sure it's a lot of problems people will get, so now what you see, it doesn't really pop anymore. It's not going back to its original pose. Alright, it is just staying at the end. Alright, so hopefully that's a little, fun, fun tip, like a little tip that will help you, not, if you're having some issues with that. Because I know I was like, I couldn't understand why it would, when I would aim down all the way, it would kind of like pop. The arm would pop, and that's why. Alright, so we have that. Alright, so all we needed was this pistol equipped, and this went into the timeline power. Alright, so alright, so what happens here now is none of this, basically none of this really, you can be in your up-down pose, but it won't trigger that timeline because the timeline's, well, that's the wrong one. The timeline is off. See, because of this plugged into this, it's off until, so if I take this out, it goes on. Alright, and then basically his arm is always in that pose. So by actually plugging this into this, what happens is this timeline doesn't turn on. And the reason you need it this way, because if you do something like, I will show you. So if I take this power out, right, and I take this, see, the issue is you need this thing. So if you turn this off or anything else, you need this slider to be moving up and down at all times, because if it's not keeping, this value isn't staying the same as this value, then what happens is it doesn't, it loses track of like where it is. So when you switch from one weapon to another, like, so if I switch to this weapon and then I go back and then say I moved it a little bit, or if I switched to this weapon, then I went down and then I switched to the handgun, it wouldn't position itself right exactly where it is. I mean, if that makes sense, it will not stay in the same area that you are when you move around. I mean, it will once you like move. You'd have to like keep. Let me see if I can show you. I forget how I did it. So how did I do this? Was it the power on off thing? Yeah, it might have been. So, alright, so if I look up and down, say, now if I go to move it, it goes back into its original position, see? So then if I go into this, and I go up and down, it's always going to go to, I guess, the last position it was at, or whatever, because, again, this slider isn't, it's, once this is powered off, once you power this off by selecting a different selector, this stops calculating. And I guess I can actually show you that too. Again, this is stuff, this stuff is definitely helpful. So, I mean, you don't have to watch it, and you can probably fast forward through this. But I think it does really help. So let me actually go into let's see, modes here. Alright, so, oh no, I actually need two. I need something else. I need this to be able to see this. Alright. No, we need you here. Alright, so let's go into this. Alright, don't mind the actual, because of whatever, don't mind anything really. Just the controller logic, pistol animation, and microchip. Alright, so when I see, if I look up, right, and I look down, again, look at the this value slider, which is the green one that's moving up. It goes to 1 to 0, right? Now it's the same, right, as that one over on the right where the microchip is where the camera is, 62, 24, 71, right? So the problem here is, though, when I go to unarmed, see how the right one is still moving, but this left one isn't? So you need that slider to move at all times. Alright, so it'll always keep track of where your weapon is, basically, according to the camera. You know, so wherever the camera is positioned, it'll make sure your arm is positioned in the same place when you switch back from one weapon to another weapon, or unarmed, or whatever it is. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. I feel like that was explained good enough. Again, if I switch it off, it stops, and then you have to kind of just to get it to go back, you have to kind of push all the way down on the analog stick, or push all the way up, and then it will recenter, and then it's back to, you know, being the same values. But no, you don't really want that. You know, that's not good. That's not a good. That's pretty buggy. I don't think anyone would like that. They have to keep recentering the gun when they're playing a game every time they switch a weapon. So it's really easy fixes. All you had to do, all I had to do was, again, I forget why I was doing that, but again, I couldn't get it to center to do both things, and that's why I needed to keep both these sliders on at all times and always moving. So that's why you won't need player look and this equipped. Again, I don't believe we need this plugged in here, but alright. So basically that is the animation for the pistol. This is, again, exact same thing. I mean, you don't even have to really change the you literally can keep it all the same animations and everything the same. The only thing you would need to change here is Uzi equipped. Again, that where you get that is it's coming off the control logic. So here is Uzi equipped, and that you would just need a wireless receiver. This is the transmitter and this is the receiver, and again, the reason for those are you don't need wires going from one to the other. Alright, so basically, again, all I did was I just kept the, you know, that other different pose for the for this animation, and I just moved it up and down. I literally did the same exact thing as I did with the pistol, no different. Again, some of them you might have to, just because of this gun is a little different than the other one, and because I made it like on an angle, I had to just, you know, I had to move around, had to mess around with the animations a little bit. So like this one, you know, when I was aiming up, I think I was fine with aiming up, but when I was aiming down, oops, when I was aiming down, I wanted it to like aim right on, pretty, you know, so it looked like it was aiming at the reticle, and all I had to do there was I basically just you know, you had to mess around with it, so I basically just aimed it down, the arm down, and had to kind of, I moved this hand, where you. And this is where the microchip probably can get rid of this X-ray. And again, just kind of just moved it a little bit more and kind of got it to see that was bad. That's kind of probably how it was, you know. So I basically just moved it over a little bit. And again, you're gonna have to, depending on where you put the camera rig, up or down, you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to do a little moving these keyframes around a little bit, you know. But again, just to let you know, you have to always, to move these keyframes, you're gonna be like, you're really gonna be like, get frustrated if you don't know what you're doing. Like, so when you hit the keyframe, when you hit edit keyframe, you know, this doesn't move, it's just moving the arm all weird. And again, that's because you have to unanimate these two. All right, you don't even need to unanimate the top one, but you probably should. And then once these are deanimated, you can move them out, move them down. All right, and I really always make sure to kind of keep guides precise, at least on. All right, so again, you'll, once you want it in the position you need it, so like this one was up, just make sure you you hit R2 quickly on these other parts of the body, and then those will animate them all, and they'll stay animated. Because again, if you don't do that, the arms will they'll move around more than they should while, you know, you're running around, and you want to keep your arms kind of stiff, or as stiff as possible, so, you know, the gun isn't you know, so it's easier for the player to keep track of things, and the gun's not flopping all over the place, and it's kind of pointing at the reticle, at least for the most part. And I can actually even show that. Let's see what happens. So if I take this one, stop this one, and I again deanimate that, and then deanimate that. I should keep that. Alright, yeah. So what happens? Is this the Uzi one? See, there's like a lot of. I see how much like it's moving around a lot. You know, and again, it's fine. I mean, that's really probably what would happen. But again, it's a game, so, you know, realism is good, but maybe not that much realism. Alright, so again, once I animate this, the hand is animated. Again, you'll know by the lines. Alright, so let me exit this out. Oh no, wait, which one did we have? One more, right? So we had that is done. This is all animated, right? Hand, yep. And again, this. So, oops. So make sure you can't move anything until you hit edit. So this, that, and then stop. Alright. So now, you see, it's not moving around as much. Alright. And the Uzi moves around a little more than the pistol, so like even with if you do that with, make sure to do that with the keyframes. With the pistol, it really doesn't move at all. And again, one little quick tip: you can cycle through these animations by, see how they're cycling through, by hitting L1 on the L1, and then on the D-pad left and right. All right. And it actually says it right there. Previous keyframes, next keyframes, L1, and then back and forth. Alright, so I mean, that's basically it, guys. Hopefully this was something that really, you know, you guys could follow along with. And you know, I know I'm not the greatest at explaining. Well, I think I'm already explaining. Maybe I'm a little more say a lot of and stuff like that, so hopefully it's not too annoying, or a lot of those seem to come out a lot. But hopefully this is you know, this was enough information. And yeah, I think this is coming along pretty well. So hopefully you guys liked it. You know, if you guys have any ideas for something that you need in a game, some sort of tutorial I can do, you know, feel free to leave it in the comments. Really, just, you know, the reason for this kind of channel is more just to, you know, it's one, to keep myself motivated in my own projects, you know, because doing this alone sometimes can be a little you know, it can get boring at times, you know. So and actually just want to, you know, help out with anything I learn. You know, that's my goal, is to like help out the community as much as possible. So again, guys, uh, it's getting late here, so again, leave me a like, a comment, appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in the next one soon. Peace.